Hello and welcome to another episode of the CUFI Weekly, and today we are talking about Syria. For 13 years, a civil war has raged just over the border from Israel, as President Bashar al-Assad clung onto power against rebels looking to overthrow his family's regime. With the support of Hezbollah, the regime in Iran and Russia, Assad was able to cling to power for 13 years, with many commentators believing that he had in fact won the civil war. That dramatically changed in the space of 11 days as fighters from Hayat al-Tahrir al-Sham and their commander Muhammad al-Joulani swept to Damascus and took power in an 11-day span. On Sunday, Bashar al-Assad fled the country. Many assume that he was given asylum in Russia. But what does this mean for Israel? What does it mean for Syria? And what does it mean for the wider region? Now, it's very clear that the reason Assad was not able to cling on to power this time was because his main allies were all embroiled in their own little conflicts. Russia in Ukraine, Hezbollah with Israel, and the regime in Tehran fighting Israel and spreading its terror network all over the world. And it's taken a lot of hits recently. So Assad was essentially on his own, and in that space of time, the rebel groups were able to take power very easily as the Syrian army collapsed. Now, the main group, Hayat al-Tahrir al-Sham, led by Muhammad al-Joulani, have a very checkered history. They used to be a al-Qaeda affiliate going by the name Jabhat al-Nusra. Now, Joulani has worked very hard to rebrand himself as rejecting extremism and embracing religious pluralism, which is going to be very interesting to see how that pans out, because Syria is actually a very diverse country. Once upon a time, before the civil war, there were 1.5 million Christians. Now it's assumed around 300,000 remain due to violence from Islamists, ISIS and other groups which frequently targeted the Christian community during the civil war. There are Kurds, there are Shiites, there are Alawites, there are Sunnis. So it's going to be very interesting how Syria looks. So while Joulani has promised not to impose Sharia law or a Taliban-style system, we really don't know. Do we take the word of a former al-Qaeda affiliate, or do we see what he does? There was also disturbing video emerging out of Syria on Monday of rebel fighters talking about how they were headed to Jerusalem next, and that people in Gaza should wait and be patient because now they've taken Damascus, Jerusalem is next. Was this some faction of another group? Were they Joulani's fighters? We don't know, as those reports are unconfirmed of who was responsible, but this video does exist. What does all of this mean for Israel? Of course, it is a positive that Assad's army is no longer on Israel's border. You no longer have Hezbollah and Iranian regime agents sitting on Israel's border planning their next step and attack against the Jewish state. But they may be replaced by jihadist Islamist fighters, and that could be hugely problematic and could change the security dynamic that Israel has. While Israel technically was still at war with Assad's Syria, that border, aside from the civil war, had been fairly quiet. The civil war occasionally spilled over into Israel, but never in any significant way. The occasional errant rocket, and of course Israel engaged in Operation Good Neighbor, where it was treating those injured in Syria with healthcare in Israel and then sending them back. But this could be a whole different situation. Could we have a situation like Lebanon or Gaza on Israel's border with Syria? We really don't know. Or are the promises made by Joulani sincere? Is he just looking for Syria to be strong, peaceful and free? We have no idea how this is going to pan out, and it's a story that we'll be watching very, very closely. At CUFI, what we can do is ensure that Israel is strong, that Israel is supported, and that we are praying for the innocent people of Syria who have endured so much over the last 13 years, and we pray that one source of dictatorship, the Assad regime, is not replaced by an Islamist, jihadist dictatorship. This is Kasim Hafeez for the CUFI Weekly. For Zion's sake, do not remain silent. Thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe so you get a notification every time a new episode hits. And if you want to check out some of our previous episodes, and we've got some really good ones, click on one of the thumbnails and that will take you right there. And finally, if you want to know more about CUFI and the work we do, go to cufi.org to check out all the resources we have available free to you.